Our city suffers. Our air quality is suffering. Traffic jams, congestion and roadblocks, they all cause fumes to be pumped out of exhaust pipes. How does this seemingly invisible threat affect our bodies? And is it too late to reverse its effects on our city? While there seems to be a general awareness of this seemingly invisible threat, is it something that is worth finding out more about?
Isn't there like respiratory problems in the long term, things like asthma, difficulty breathing?
With their health, then it affects their mental well-being as well.
People with asthma and chronic chest disease.
You'd imagine that it settles in your lungs.
It can affect you physically and emotionally.
Prolonged exposure to air pollution can be linked to various diseases in the human body. These diseases have been known to affect such areas as the heart, the lungs, and even the brain. These diseases can range from pulmonary deficiencies such as asthma to cardiovascular problems such as heart disease and stroke. But air pollution can also be proven to damage people's mental well-being, contributing to raised levels of anxiety and even causing depression. Air pollution can have serious repercussions on the human body, being linked to many cardiovascular and respiratory diseases. To find out what illnesses are linked to air pollution, Dr. Rajiv Chowdhury has more to say on this issue.
So air pollution is when you have various detrimental pollutants like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, ozone, and different particulate matters or nanoparticles in air when you inhale it, and the detrimental health consequences that may happen from it. It can happen from various reasons. It can occur from the diesel and petrol fumes from the cars. It can come from different industrial byproduct. It can also come from burning the solid fuel while cooking. Air pollution has a wide range of detrimental health consequences, and that can come from cardiovascular disease to metabolic disorders to respiratory illness, and more recently there are evidence that it might impact the growth of newborns as well. Pollution can cause what we call as kind of thickening of the arteries. It can also make your blood heavier. It can cause problems with the circulation in general. It can cause problems with cardiac or heart rhythms. And in general, it can therefore cause problems with blocks in your heart, which may end up in a heart attack. People who are at risk of heart attack, people who are old, or people who previously had a heart attack, they already may have enough atherosclerosis or enough blocks in their blood that might be displaced, causing a heart attack in those vulnerable people. So it may have an acute as well as kind of a chronic consequences on cardiovascular disease. Worldwide, it has been estimated that about 6.5 million deaths could be attributed to both indoor as well as outdoor pollution. And in the UK, about 40,000 deaths annually have been attributed to air pollution.
With air pollution being a major issue, is there anything that can be done about it? Or is it too late to reverse the situation? We asked the public and the council for what they believe should be done and what measures should be taken.
If air pollution is going to negatively affect people's health, then that's definitely something that should be addressed.
The government and the council needs to kind of get a bit more involved and push people to recycle more and to be more aware of the environment.
We could be having much more sustainable fuels.
I suppose the trouble with air pollution is you can't really see it. So I think for people to make a change in their lifestyle, like to drive less, I don't think that's going to happen really for a long time.
One of the worst culprits for air pollution is traffic. We are working with the County Council. Firstly, we've got the core area where the roads are closed and we have the one-way system. We're also working with the bus company on a quality bus partnership to encourage less polluting buses in the city. We're encouraging less polluting taxis, and in fact from next year we are installing some electric charge points for taxis. We should have 2 in March and a further 8 in September, and that's one of our first steps to having some sort of low emission zone in the city centre. Air pollution can seem a little bit like further away from us. It doesn't affect us right now, whereas getting to work on time or picking up our children on time, we need to do that now, and so we often make the easy choices. I would also say that in Cambridge public transport isn't great, and so some people don't have choices. They can't choose to get the bus to work, they need to drive, or it's too far to cycle. So we do need to give people better options so that they can make those more environmentally friendly options. We really need better public transport. That is the key to all of this, to get people out of their cars. If we had just buses and bikes and cycling, that would be a big step forward. We all need to drive less, myself included, walk more, cycle more, take the bus. We need to think about our heating. It's a shame we didn't do this years ago, and every day that goes by where we don't do anything makes it harder, but if we make changes now, then we'll protect our children's future.
The impact of air pollution is unsustainable. A reduction in our petrol and diesel engines is desperately needed. So could investing in better public transport or the growing use of electric vehicles pave the way to a cleaner future for our air?
I think the biggest challenge that we face at the moment is congestion and the fact that everybody is relying on their car. So the objectives that we're trying to achieve are about reducing congestion and moving people onto public transport. We also need to have an ambition about getting most cars out of the city centre. We need the space for public transport to run most efficiently, and then I think that will make people realise that's a better option for them than sitting in their car.
When you've got a 24-hour business such as a hospital, research company and so on, that you need to be able to park your car in the morning and know that you're going to be able to get back to it. If you don't know you're going to be able to get back to it, then you'll make another choice, such as driving to the hospital and using the hospital car park, which adds to the congestion. But that doesn't need to happen. And the same is true of the night economy in the Cambridge city centre. So if you are driving to Cambridge city centre to go see a show, well actually you could drive to the park and ride and avoid all that traffic into town. The same applies for if you're getting a train to London, so you might want to get a train to London, and so on. You can see all of these 24-hour problems that aren't served, and the Cambridge guided busway is a really, really good resource, but after 8 o'clock at night and on Sundays there's no service.
So for us, one of the biggest costs in any sort of public transport system is the staffing cost, the driver cost. That's why you don't run buses into the evening when people, are saying they still want them. So you take out that cost, you suddenly free yourself up quite a lot to think about a different type of system that is working when people need it.
So what we intend to do is develop a 12, 15-seater vehicle and run it on that guided busway in those hours when it's not economically feasible to run the bigger buses. So we're not replacing the buses, we're merely complementing them with a new technology. And the reason why we can do that is because, first of all, we have slightly smaller vehicles, so it's instead of a 50, 60-seater bus, we've got a smaller vehicle, which means that we spend less time waiting for it to get full, but because it's cheaper to run, we don't really need it to be full, so actually it might be economical to run the vehicle with just 1 or 2 passengers inside. It's an electric vehicle with autonomous drive capabilities, so what that is a whole sensor stack, vision systems, LiDAR. We hope to kick off probably in spring 2018, and we should be deploying between spring and summer 2019.
We need better, cheaper, greener public transport across Britain.
Air pollution is a problem that we need to be more focused on for the future. With an annual death toll of up to 40,000 people attributed to this problem, we need to be taking it more seriously. Fortunately though, there are some measures being put in place to combat this issue. I just hope that the Council's proposed plans are enough to revert this issue. Until that time though, I'm going to be using one of these